So when it comes to 10k training, we know that working on speed extension or speed endurance is key to finishing strong over the distance, just like any other race. But what are the other factors that go into having a great 10k training block that can help you run faster? Today, we're going to be diving in and discussing them. What is up guys, Andy Forrest, Team Runner here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm sharing with you my 7 key tips for training for a faster 10k. So as I embark on a new 10k training block and currently partway through week number 2, I thought it'd be a great time to sit down and go through 7 key tips to help you guys run a faster 10k, because ultimately the training is one thing, but it's all the other stuff around the outside, as we all know, that can really make that extra difference. And I thought I would sit down, put these together and share them with you guys today, and also get your feedback on what you think is the most valuable tip outside of the training element itself. You can leave your comments down below, share your thoughts. It will be great to hear you down there. So without further ado, please give this video a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and we'll kickstart with tip number 1. So drills and strides is the first thing that I want to mention today. Such a key part of the warm-up leading into the workout. I like to do drills and strides after I've done my 15-minute jog before I then go into my workout. And for me, they just work on building strength and mobility, running form, ironing out the kinks in the running form, working on that cadence and turnover, and just hopefully making me become a better runner. I'd love to know if you guys do them as well, and if you're not doing them, I seriously would consider adding them in to your training. We all have our own focuses. For me, it's all about quicker feet, quicker turnover. For other people, it could be about mobility, and for others, it could be about strength. But ultimately, drills and strides as a package work on the all-round running economy and help us become stronger and better. So the second point I want to make is all about giving your body a little bit of extra TLC. So if you're like me and you've just come off the back of marathon training, or you've got jumping into a 10k block from something slightly larger, whether it's half marathon or marathon, the volume is going to have been higher, but the mileage slightly easier, slightly less intense. Whereas what we're doing now is we're bringing down the volume, but increasing the intensity. And if you're coming from that direction, what we have to remember is our muscles and tendons are going to be adapting to the faster work. It's going to be more of a strain on the body, and we just have to be a little bit careful. Injuries can rear their head very, very easily. So when we're talking about TLC, I'm talking about massage guns, talking about foam rollers, talking about keeping on top of stretching and doing a little bit extra around the outside, because ultimately, if we neglect a lot of that stuff and we come off the back of some runs feeling rather stiff, rather sore, we've put a little bit of extra strain, a little bit of extra effort in, some of the muscle knots might start to appear. We go out for another run and we ignore those. We go out for another run and we start to stress and strain those muscles again, which are already starting to knot up, and that is what can lead to injuries. So keeping on top of the body, keeping everything nice and ironed out, massage guns, foam rollers, they're all a massive plus. Now, I did mention at the beginning I don't want to talk specifically about workouts and things, but I do want to throw out there hill work as a generic package for you guys to work on during your training. It can come in the form of a few different varieties. Obviously, we can do hill specific work. I'm not going to talk about workouts, but you can do them as a workout. But a couple of different ways you can use hill work is you could be doing your drills and strides uphill. Doing uphill drills and strides, uphill bounding in particular, is just adding extra strength, especially on softer surfaces. Just takes a little bit of stress and strain away from the body, and it just helps take away some of that impact. Plus, it builds up even more strength, and they're great to do. I've been doing my drills and strides, if you've been following the training series, uphill, not the drills itself, sorry, but the bounding and the strides, just doing them up a gentle incline just to help build that little bit of extra strength. And ultimately, once you've completed your workout, another thing to do that I see a lot of people do is add maybe 3, 4, 5 30-second strides going up a hill once they've completed their workout. So they've done everything, they've done the cool down, and then they just do what they call surges, what they call strides uphill, just 3, 4, 5 of them, 30 seconds, walk back down, just to build that extra strength. It really doesn't add too much to the run that you've done. It's kind of just like doing strides, but they're just adding them to the end of their workout. Strength and conditioning is the fourth thing I want to mention. Some of us love it, some of us hate it. It is something that I personally am making a massive effort on during this training block. I've embarked on a new strength and conditioning sort of program that I have put together myself, but I'm doing something of some type of work every 3 days, and already it's making the world of difference in terms of posture, in terms of form, in terms of turnover, just everything. Hips, back, everything is slowly starting to work a little bit better, and you guys will find the same as well. You don't have to go to a gym to strengthen. I was a member of the gym. I did struggle with that motivation to go there. I have found some great routines with kettlebells, with medicine balls and dumbbells that can be done at home that I'm doing myself. You guys know, if you're strength and conditioning advocates out there and you do it quite a lot, you'll know just how important it is that actually just adding strength and conditioning and not adding extra mileage to your training will still get you faster. A lot of people assume that continually getting faster means adding more mileage in. Actually, ironing out the kinks in our running form and becoming more economical can make the world of difference and can increase our speed as it is without having to do any extra running from your previous training block. So seriously, strength and conditioning, as much as some of us hate it, including me, it really is a vital part of getting faster. Now, the beauty of training for a distance like 10Ks is you're able to squeeze in more tune-up races. Now, that's the fifth point I want to make, and there's a couple of benefits to this. Number one, you can obviously test out your fitness and see where you're at. But number two, what it kind of does from a training perspective, it gives you an idea as to if you're training along the right lines, if you're training too fast, or if you're training not enough. Ultimately, if we go out there and we're running certain paces in training and then think that we can go and replicate that in a race, and then go to a race and we're nowhere near that and we realize we're training too fast, we can dial our training back. Likewise, if we feel like we're training too slow, we go out there and absolutely smash a 10K, we know that we can increase our training slightly. I feel like it's almost like calibrating. That needle's kind of moving here, and these tune-up races can really allow us to dial in and get our training spot on. Also, it's a great bit of fun to get out there, it breaks the training block up, and you can have some good fun. It's the benefit of doing these shorter distances, is these smaller races don't take as much out of us as if we're marathon training and we're doing maybe, or want to do a fair few half marathons. We know that that's going to take a lot out of us. But with 10Ks, whether you want to go and do some fast park runs, some fast track races, some other fast 10Ks in the build-up, it's really not going to take too much out of you. It adds a bit of fun, and it helps us calibrate our training. And the sixth point I want to talk about is shoe rotation. This will really help you from an injury prevention perspective. Learn from my mistakes. Last year, I got injured during my 10K training block, I believe for two reasons. Number one, I was just training on cloud nine. I was feeling so good, feeling invincible. And you know what it's like, you keep pushing, you keep going, and bam, the calf goes, and that's 4 weeks out. The second thing that I want to mention is I was training a lot in lower stack shoes because I love ground contact feel. I love to feel like I'm doing a lot of the work during my workouts. I kind of try to minimize training in plated shoes, and this training block I'm going to be getting a good balance of it. Bit of context, a lot of summer miles out on the trails, bigger stack shoes, move to the winter, lots of concrete, lots of lower stack shoes, and the legs started to get niggles. I ignored them, kept going, kept pushing, and bam, there we go. So this training block is all about mixing and matching the two. A lot of the shorter sessions are going to be done in the lower stack shoes, ground contact feel. I love to feel like I'm doing the work. I will also be mixing up with some higher stack shoes, cushioning to protect the legs. I will just say strength and conditioning work, I always do barefoot, mainly because I don't believe in having cushion under your feet. When you are doing strength and conditioning work, you're trying to get your feet to grip, get all the muscles firing, and you don't want any instability being caused by any foam. So I do firmly believe in doing strength and conditioning without my shoes on if I can, and a lot of the speed work without plates in them, but then a lot of the other miles mixing it up with some higher stack shoes. Fingers crossed to get a good balance and help prevent injuries. And the final point I want to make, tip number 7, is going to be saying don't be a hero. I threw this one in there because that's exactly what I was trying to be last week in week 1. I really pushed in some of my workouts. I was amazed at some of the paces I ran, and then I said to myself, Andy, you have 11 more weeks of training to go. What are you doing? So it gave me a complete mental refocus when I came into this second week, and I remembered that I just need to stack week after week after week after week. You do not need to stroke your own ego with fast workouts. It does not matter. We're going for fast PBs in races. Training is all about stacking up week after week. It's great to know that we're in good shape, and some of those workouts are always good to absolutely nail. Don't get me wrong, you want to feel like you're in that flow state, but the second you start straining and pushing too much in your workouts is the second you know you're pushing a little bit too hard. You just need to dial it back just a touch, still work hard, keep it controlled, but just focus on the form. The second your form starts to go is the second you start to know that you could be in trouble. So don't be a hero during training, just keep it consistent week after week after week, and you'll get there. So there we go, there are my 7 tips to help you guys run a faster 10K outside of the actual running training itself. I'd love to hear what you guys think about them, and I'd love to hear what your top tips are for other runners out there training for their first 10K or trying to get faster for their upcoming races. I'd love to hear your comments down below, and let's build that comment section so it can be a great hub for people to go and read and learn from all of our experiences. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then.